What do I see under the tires? What could it be? Very interesting. The photos depict large-sized pneumatic marine bumpers, also known as marine fenders, which are special devices used in ports and on ships to prevent damage during mooring or docking. Their primary purpose is to absorb kinetic energy when a ship comes into contact with a dock or another ship, reducing the risk of hull deformation and pier structure damage. These bumpers are made of durable reinforced rubber that is resistant to seawater, UV light, and mechanical damage. Inside, they are filled with pressurized air or, less commonly, special foam. Around the main cylinder, there are car or tractor tires that soften the friction between the vessel and the bumpers. They protect the rubber shell from tearing, distribute the load evenly across the surface. These fenders are widely used in large maritime terminals, including oil terminals, military and commercial fleets, floating structures and pontoon bridges, during temporary ship parking in open water. Due to their dimensions, sometimes reaching 3 meters in diameter and 6 meters in length, they are transported in disassembled or deflated form, or as in these photos, already in a ready state. They are securely fixed on platforms using chains and belts to avoid displacement during transportation. Such bumpers are an important element of safety in maritime logistics and shipping. 1/2 in thick carbon fiber, or fiberglass, corrugated panels with shaped 1-inch foam panels glued to one side in a specific pattern. Possibly aviation-related. Northern Minnesota. I just moved into a house in northern Minnesota, and these panels were stacked along a shed. They're made of some sort of corrugated material, fiberglass or carbon fiber, with additional foam panels mounted to them. They're light, but feel really strong. The person who used to live here was a retired airline mechanic, thinking they may have some ties to aviation. The photos show lightweight but durable panels with a characteristic honeycomb structure inside and geometrically cut foam blocks glued together. Judging by the appearance, the material, possibly carbon fiber or fiberglass, as well as the latest scheme, these are the components of the interior floor panels, of the cargo or technical compartment of the Airbus A319 aircraft located in the nose. Here's what you can say in more detail. What is it? These are aviation modular floor panels used in the front technical compartment or storage area. They consist of an outer layer of carbon fiber or fiberglass, an inner honeycomb structure, usually made of aluminum or composite material, for strength and minimal weight. Cut foam panels that provide thermal insulation and precise fit with pipelines, niches, and electrical system components. Features: perimeter holes are required for attachment to the power frame. The foam is cut out for wiring harnesses, air ducts, guides, and technological slots. The sandwich structure panel honeycomb core panel provides high bending rigidity, which means it can withstand the weight of the crew, equipment, and cargo. Where exactly are they used? According to the diagram last image, this is part of the lower panel under the crew cabin, Area A, in the compartment where the following are installed: distribution electrical units, air oxygen tanks, a technical pipeline, air and other equipment. Panels of Type 131AF, as in the diagram, are included in the configuration of the Airbus A319 and compatible models of the A320 series. Why might they be in the possession of a private individual? If the former owner is an aircraft mechanic, the panels may have been discarded during repairs, decommissioning of the aircraft, or replacement of damaged components. They are often used in everyday life as durable floorboards, temporary flooring, or even insulated structures for workshops and hangars. Not sure what this is. Found it while clearing out my granddad's garage after he passed. Grandma doesn't know what it is either. The photos show a 25-ton black diamond hydraulic wood splitter, a powerful tool designed for easy and quick splitting of wood, especially hardwood species such as oak, ash, or maple. These devices are widely used in rural areas, on farms, in private households, and in summer cottages where regular wood collection for stoves or campfires is required. The principle of operation is simple yet effective. 1. A gasoline engine starts a hydraulic pump, which generates powerful pressure. 2. This pressure drives a hydraulic cylinder that pushes a heavy metal plate, called a piston. 3. The wood is placed on the platform and rests against a steel wedge at the front of the device. 4. Under the pressure of 25 tons, the log is literally split into pieces in a few seconds. Features: large wheels and a hitch allow you to transport the log splitter by attaching it to an ATV or tractor. The photo also shows hydraulic hoses, protective covers, and a control lever, All this indicates a well-thought-out design focused on user safety and convenience. The device can operate in a horizontal or vertical position, depending on the model, which is convenient when working with heavy logs that are difficult to lift. Such a woodcutter is a real salvation if you need to harvest large volumes of firewood without excessive physical effort. It is especially valuable in cold regions where wood heating is not a luxury, but a necessity. This was put up in the laundry room. This was put up several months back in the laundry room of my apartment complex, and it's been bugging me whenever I come to figure out what on earth it could be. The photos show a tracking camera with a motion sensor, often referred to as a wildlife camera, or trail camera/game camera. These devices are used by hunters, researchers, and gardeners for covert surveillance of animals or to protect their territories. However, in this case, the camera is installed indoors, in the laundry room of an apartment building, which raises some questions. Here's what you need to know about it, what it is and how it works. The device is activated by a motion sensor, PIR, and takes photos or records videos when someone passes by, or equipped with infrared lighting to capture images in the dark without emitting light. The camouflage color scheme indicates that this is a model for outdoor covert surveillance, originally designed for forests or hunting grounds. Why it might be installed in a laundry room. 1. Anti-theft measures. If there have been instances of theft in the building, such as laundry detergent, laundry, or machine rentals, this camera may have been installed to monitor the residents. 2. Activity monitoring. The administration or management company may have installed it to record violations, such as overnight stays by strangers. 3. Suspicious self-installation. If the installation looks homemade, as in your case, on a board with screws, it may have been installed by one of the residents without permission. Please note, the camera is facing downward, possibly towards the washing machines or the door. It does not have any visible wires, suggesting that it operates on batteries and stores data on an SD card. Installing a camera inside a residential building may violate privacy rights, especially if residents are not notified. A truck-mounted device roaming Seattle streets at 1 a.m. What could it be? What is it? Found in late grandparents' place in UK. Unsure what era from. Presuming some form of service knife. Not sure what the smaller blades are for. Anyone ideas? In front of you is a real kukri or kukuri, an iconic curved blade knife traditionally used in Nepal and especially famous as the weapon of the Gurkhas, the elite soldiers who served in the British Army. This knife is not just a tool or a cold weapon. It was a symbol of courage, military honor, and even a spiritual protector. The main blade of the kukri has a distinctive curved shape, perfect for powerful slashing strikes. With its offset center of gravity, it acts like an axe while remaining much more versatile. Gurkha warriors used it both in battle and in everyday life, for cutting food, chopping wood, or even as a sapper tool. The sheath often contains 2 small additional blades. One of them, the karda, is a sharp auxiliary knife for small, everyday tasks. The other, the chakmak, is unsharpened and is used for sharpening the main blade or, in traditional use, for striking sparks. This pair was an integral part of the kit. Interestingly, the blade of a kukri often features decorative notches, symbolic notches at the base, such as a cho, a ritual element, and traces of hand forging. These knives were handmade and could be passed down through generations as part of a military or family legacy. If your grandfather served in the British Army during the mid-20th century, particularly in India or Burma, it's possible that this kukri was a gift, a trophy, or a memento of their service alongside the Gurkhas. Today, such a knife is not only historically significant, but also a collector's item. Found this on a hike in southeast Ohio. What is it? Found this on a hike in southeastern Ohio near the border of West Virginia. There used to be lots of coal mining in the region in the early 1900s, so maybe it has something to do with that? The photo shows an abandoned steam boiler house, or more specifically, a horizontal-type steam boiler built into a brick furnace. These structures were used in the late 19th and early 20th centuries to produce steam for use in the coal industry, sawmills, mines, and even railway depots. The front of the boiler, with its numerous holes, is a tubular grate. These tubes allowed hot gases from the furnace to pass through, heating the water surrounding the tubes within the large boiler body. The top view shows a safety valve and a piping system, elements responsible for regulating steam pressure. Such installations were often built in remote areas with heavy coal mining activity, like Southeast Ohio. After mines closed, such structures were often simply left in forests, where nature took its course over time. Today, they are a rare reminder of the industrial might of the early 20th century. What is this? This was brought by my mom's boyfriend a while back, and I know it's ship-related, but what is it exactly? In front of you is a real ship's machine telegraph, one of the most recognizable symbols of classical maritime navigation. This device was used on steamships and diesel ships to transmit commands from the captain or navigator to the engine room, where the main engine and its maintenance personnel were located. The principle of operation was simple, but reliability was critical. When the captain turned the handle of the telegraph, the arrow was set to the desired command: full ahead, stop, half astern, and others. At this point, a mechanism was activated below, an audible bell and a duplicate arrow, which was duplicated in the engine room. The engineer saw the command and had to immediately confirm it by turning the arrow to the same mark. This ensured a clear and reliable connection between the bridge and the power plant, even in the presence of noise, vibrations, and poor hearing. Such telegraphs were mandatory on passenger liners, cargo ships, tankers, as well as on warships of the First and Second World Wars. The metal case, brass or steel parts, a loud sound signal, everything is designed to work in extreme conditions. Now machine telegraphs have long been replaced by digital systems and radio, but the surviving specimens have become real antique treasures. They often adorn maritime museums, themed interiors, and sometimes, private collections. This device in your photo is not just an artifact, but a symbol of an era when the commands full speed ahead and stop were given by hand, not by pressing a button. A tank equipped with a muffler to lessen noise. What could it be? This is not a fantastic science fiction cannon or a secret superweapon, but one of the most unusual and little-known designs in military engineering, a huge acoustic silencer for a tank cannon. This is a specialized device designed for firing at a firing range with maximum noise and shockwave reduction. The image shows the German self-propelled artillery Panzerhaubitze 2000, PZH-2000, one of the most powerful and accurate self-propelled guns in the world. Its 155mm cannon can hit targets up to 40 kilometers away, and each shot is accompanied by a monstrous noise level of over 180 dB. In peaceful testing conditions, this is unacceptable, especially near cities, airbases, or military training centers. To address this issue, engineers have created an acoustic enclosure consisting of a series of large chambers that can dampen the shock wave, similar to a firearm silencer, but on a massive scale. Inside each chamber there is a complex system of insulating partitions, sound, absorbing materials, and holes that dissipate the energy of the explosion. The device not only protects others from sound, but also allows you to collect accurate data on the ballistics and sound profile of the shot. This jamming monster is not used in combat, it is stationary, exclusively for scientific and testing purposes. It looks amazing and even funny, but in reality it is a masterpiece of engineering that allows you to fire one of the deadliest guns in the world almost in silence. Found in my local antique shop, spotted up in an antique shop a short drive away from me, UK. What does this antique item mean? The photo shows a rare and spectacular object, a ritual or ceremonial skull in a Gothic or Victorian style, placed in a decorative metal frame with ornaments and radial rays. Such objects are often more than just souvenirs. They carry specific symbolism, ranging from memento mori, reminders of death, to relics associated with ritual or occult practices. The metal bars in the jaw area and the elegant brass stand suggest that the skull was designed as a display piece, possibly from a private collection in the 19th or early 20th century. At that time, there was a trend in Europe, particularly in England, for anatomical, ethnographic, and esoteric collections, known as Cabinet of Curiosities. This is not just a skull, it is a museum or collector's artifact that combines elements of art, anatomy, and theatrical drama. Finding such a thing in an antique shop is a rare opportunity to reflect on the cultural layers of the past. Is there some kind of explosive lying on the floor of the server room? Is it real or is it a prank? The photo shows an object that looks like an aerial bomb or rocket, lying among the cables in the server room. This appearance can indeed cause panic, but it is most likely not a real explosive device, but either an empty shell or a dummy. Such items are sometimes used as demilitarized training models for military or civil defense training, props or museum exhibits that have mistakenly ended up in the wrong place, dark humor or a strange joke by an employee, especially in a technical environment. However, if there is any doubt or lack of confidence in the safety of the item, it should be reported immediately to the security services. Even if it is a mock-up, storing or displaying it in this manner may be in violation of regulations. If it were a real explosive device, it would likely be isolated or have already detonated if active. There would be characteristic markings and damage, labels, traces of an explosion, and a smell.